I haven't had Starbucks in a couple of months, I think. So today is definitely going to be like a high caliber day. It's definitely going to be popping. Another thing is something funny has been happening on my Instagram. Growing up, I always thought I was too good for Limp Bizkit, you know, but then their songs just keep calling to me. I keep wanting to put them in my Instagram story. And it's funny because it seems to irk all the right people, you know, like my friend in California who thinks that using a store-bought pounce pad is like a little bit too fancy. I should use 2 layers of t-shirt. I miss her. I used to work with her all the time at opening new Whole Foods. I know what you're thinking. You're wondering, why haven't you had Starbucks in a couple of months? I've been making my coffee at home. And when I'm on the job site, I've been making it in a way that's like camping. I have a little camping coffee setup. I just bring it along with me, and I really love it. It's a ritual, you know. You take a break, take a look at your book, and you figure out what's the next move. I mean, it sounds like there's some fuel in here. Maybe it was just too windy this morning when I made the coffee. The water didn't get all the way hot. The other thing I mentioned but never really paid off yet was that there's funny stuff happening on Instagram, and there is. Another thing, and this is a really huge deal, is that I realized that I use a lot of bogus brushes, a lot of doo-doo brushes. I just put out a really cinematic short video in vertical format with a close-up of me painting a letter. the first letter of the word restaurants at cross keys. And I'm using a doo-doo brush. But look at me. I mean, if you go watch the video, you see that I pull a really tight corner, really sharp corners there. All of that looks really good. But somebody contacted me on Instagram and said, hey, why don't you use real sign painting brushes? And I challenged the guy to a race, which I think we could do on Zoom. I think that'd be really fun, sort of the sign painting Olympics or something. Sign painting X Games. And we would race. It would be tough. We'd have to have a jury of our peers, you know? And at least one of our peers would have to be sort of a tough customer, not another sign painter, but the type of customer that looks at a wall and says, I don't know if the color is quite right. Or, could you move that like 3 inches to the left? Of course, the first thing would be painting a word or a letter in a timed competition, and then afterward you'd have to look at it and make sure that one of them wasn't just too sloppy or not opaque enough. One coat. No, it's not a one coat thing, actually, because with my doo-doo brushes, I always plan to do 2 coats. So if somebody thinks they can use a different paint or a different kind of brush and beat me in 1 coat, you know, that's part of the race. So I would have to actually be twice as fast. If they were using a paint that was opaque enough to do it in 1 coat, I would have to beat them in 2 coats. So I'd have to be twice as fast. At the end, points would be awarded for opacity and for, like, soul and for perfection.